to Lords of the Realm 2.
Lords of the Realm 2 is the greatest game ever made. That's about the only way I can classify this game. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Okay, but seriously, this game itself is smooth and innovative, and for a title released in 1996, it's insanely fun. The game draws you in without much effort, the interface is streamlined and easy to figure out. The game allows the player to be in the action within a few turns, and then you become the master of your shire. The game makes it easy to fail, and also easy to recover. It's like learning to walk on a giant marshmallow. Sure you fall down, but who cares? Let's break it down as to why it's the greatest game ever made. First, replayability. The game plays in a manner of ways that allows you to experience it different every time, and this is largely based on your playstyle. The economic management in the game allows you to basically use clever methods of resource use and development. Remember, in medieval times, as well as today, peasants and working class people are a resource that need to be used, basically in a similar fashion to how Communist Russia did it with their government-directed economy. Anyway, it means that you have to assign people jobs, and they need to focus in certain areas, which in this game could mean a number of things. Like if you focus heavily on collecting timber, you have to assign your blacksmiths to make large numbers of bows in order to utilize your large amount of wood resources. Or, if you focus more heavily on iron, you can use that iron and focus your blacksmiths towards making full chainmail to make more knights. Or you could focus down in the middle, using a combination of wood and iron to build pikes, or macemen, kind of finding a balance in between the extreme distance of the bow or the speed of the knight, choosing instead to focus on a more balanced army. The army management in the game adds a whole other level of strategy and planning. In order to create an army, you have to draw a population out of your province to fill the ranks. This has drawbacks and rewards. If you need to raise a force of soldiers quickly, it can be okay to just send an army of peasants that are relatively unequipped in order to stop them from capturing your territory. However, it can be much more rewarding if you send an army later with equipment to basically make the army more effective. Also, by drawing peasants out of your province, it diminishes your potential production from the region. This can slow your progress and expansion by effectively neutering your industrial base back at home. What's really interesting is that the conscription system in this game is actually somewhat based in reality. Essentially, in the medieval period, most peasants and freemen were liable to provide one man of suitable age per family for military service, when required by the king or local lord. Essentially, levies were raised, and these men had to fight as infantry under local superiors. However, the exact laws kind of varied from county to county, but during the period, these men would often fight, and were obliged to fight for a period of 1 to 3 months. However, most of these men were subsistence farmers, so it was in basically everyone's interest that these men would go home and harvest after their time of service was up. Which this now brings to my next point. After you finish maneuvering your army on the battle screen, you can take your army into combat with either other province capital centers to conquer it, or you can maneuver it on the tactical map to attack your enemy's armies. In similar fashion to what Shogun Total War would do later, you effectively maneuver your army into combat, and then control it on a battle screen, allowing for a really unique experience every time you fight. And especially the gameplay can change depending on your army's loadout. If you have more archers, more knights, it kind of makes the battle different every time. And also the maps change randomly. However, not based on a territorial piece of map like in later Total War games, it's just kind of randomly generated in this one. However, after constant battles, you'll find your armies get wiped out rather quickly. So one of the other main mechanics in this game is the fact you have to build castles. And these castles varying from very singular wooden keeps all the way up to large royal fortresses with moats and multiple wall lines. So that also brings into play siege warfare. We have to bring siege towers, battling rams, and catapults, adding a whole nother level of difficulty and intricacies to the battles brought forth to you in this game. When I was younger and playing the crap out of this game, I would often find myself throwing my armies against enemies' castles, losing massive amounts of men in the process. So what I often would do is I'd build a gigantic peasant army that would just dig up the entire moat and just trash that castle as much as possible, and then I would have them retreat, and I would attack it with a much better army the following season, and effectively save myself the hassle of losing any seasoned good troops. That, or I would try and bait their units away from the red flag, which if you can get a unit to that flag, you win the battle automatically, which would save you the cost and material of training new men. Lords of the Realm 2 is a fantastic title. If you haven't tried it, I highly suggest you do. If you have a friend, I suggest you try out the multiplayer in it, because that is also a fantastic element of the game that's really fun to try out. And for a title that came out in 1996... Wait, How long ago was 1996? I'm old. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, you can see more of my stuff at Historicnerd.com, or you can actually visit some of the folks I'm partnered with over at the Console Xplosion.com. They're pretty talented people. Some of them are funnier than me. That's pretty easy to do. But yeah, I guess you can follow me on Twitter. If you want, I don't really say much. At Historicnerd. Or like on Facebook, I guess. You know, whatever. Really up to you. I'm pretty open. But, just thanks for dropping by. Bye.